I want to thank all of those friends and colleagues who have been at my side for these past 6 years or so.
Absolute bootlickers and cucks. You should be ashamed of yourself that you even propped up a person with such little personality, such little charisma, such little vision. You people should be leaving with him.
I'm as real as a real can get. What you see?
Buongiorno freaks and geeks, welcome back to the channel. Admittedly, this video may be just for me because I am absolutely relishing the thought of watching Keir Starmer's resignation speech in full. So bear with me while I tap dance and piss on the grave, which is Keir Starmer's career in politics. So before I press play on this video, please don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and tell me down below by listing the 5 achievements Keir Starmer has achieved as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
And here is the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer.
Okay, I don't believe that cheering is real. I don't even believe 5% of that cheering is real. Unless it's done ironically, they're just happy to see the back of this useless oaf. To be honest, in my opinion, he should have left at the same time as his #1 man, Morgan McSweeney, because he was a completely different robot without him. So, yeah.
Thank you. Walking up this street 2 years ago was the proudest moment of my life.
Yeah, that fits. And what did you do with it? Absolutely nothing. You were able to obtain Labour's biggest majority in history, and still you have been forced out 2 years later. You are pathetic.
A new Labour government, the first in 14 years. A page in our country's history turned after years of disappointment and despair. The chance to change the lives of millions of people for the better. That's what I came into politics for.
And he managed to achieve none of those things. It takes some serious hubris to come during your resignation speech and say, this is what I set out to do. This is why I got into politics. And you did none of it. God, you are an absolute disgrace of a human being. This, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this full speech, because I'm going to be stopping every 10 seconds to interject with how poorly he has been.
The journey to that point was not easy. 6 years ago, I inherited a Labour Party that was politically, financially, and morally bankrupt.
That's just a straight up lie. I mean, let's start with the politically bankrupt. You mean the same politics that you pledged to uphold in your leadership bid to the membership of the Labour Party. Financially bankrupt, again, no, they had the biggest membership in Europe of any political party. You had healthy financial accounts, and now the final charge of moral bankruptcy, unless of course you are saying morals such as large redistribution of wealth, renationalizing the energy and gas industry, renationalizing the railway system are morals that you absolutely object to, then yes, go for it. Call it moral bankruptcy if you want. But you, sir, are the one without morals. You, sir, are the one without conviction. You, sir, are the one without any truth-telling skills, if I've ever seen it.
I was told time and time again that my party was finished, that we were consigned to history, that a majority at the general election, let alone a landslide majority, was impossible.
You only got that majority because everyone hated the Tories so much. This had nothing to do with the policies he was pitching at that particular general election, because remember, the only reason he got elected as leader of the Labour Party was because he pretended to be the continuation candidate for Jeremy Corbyn. He took all of those 10 pledges and said, this is what I will deliver in my next manifesto, and he scrapped all of them in order to not even give hope to the electorate, but just to say, at least we're not blue Tories, I guess.
But we proved those people wrong because we changed our party, ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism.
By getting rid of every left-wing Jew so that anti-Semitism wouldn't be able to be done anymore. That's what you mean by ripping out the poison of anti-Semitism. I see your game. You're trying to be slick there, Mr. Sir Keir Rodney Starmer.
Restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security, and becoming a party that once again stood proudly with, not against, our national flag.
Wait, what? Is he saying that Jeremy Corbyn hated the Union Jack? What? Jeremy Corbyn? So what flag was Jeremy Corbyn flying as opposed to Keir Starmer right now? I mean, I know Keir Starmer is an absolute flag shagger because he has no policies and no personality, but what flag does he think Jeremy Corbyn was flying as opposed to... That's just such a weird thing to say. I mean, on the way out, and as you mentioned, a landslide victory, and you resigned 2 years later. And even on the way out, even though this whole resignation was completely of your own making, on the way out, you still have to get in your digs at Jeremy Corbyn. I mean, if anyone's obsessed, I mean, I wish he was obsessed with, you know, closing the poverty gap in this country as he is obsessed with Jeremy Corbyn.
The hard work of change was with a singular purpose, not power for power's sake, but to change Britain for the better, to build a fairer country with dignity and respect, where everyone is seen, everyone is valued, wealth and opportunity for all, not just the privileged few.
If he did any of those things, he would not be leaving right now, and he would not be universally hated. Who the hell wrote... I mean, he must have wrote this speech himself, because such is the level of delusion of this imbecile. What do you mean? You list all those things, which, on the face of it, are good, and you did none of them. This is astounding. This should be studied in all psychotherapy circles across this world. I mean, take this guy in and study his brain, please. It's a marvel to see.
And look at what we've achieved in just 2 years. An economy that is stronger, growing faster than our peers. Wages rising faster than inflation in every single month since we came to power. Investment secured, infrastructure being built. An end to austerity.
What is he talking about? Is he going to mention the million young people out of employment, education or training? Like, is he going to mention that? Because that is a tasty record that I think you should be highlighting on the way out the door, please.
With the fastest fall in NHS waiting lists for 17 years. The biggest improvement in rights for workers and renters in a generation. The biggest uplift in defence spending since the Cold War. Small boat crossings falling. Asylum hotels closing.
Yeah, because you're just getting rid of all of the asylum seekers. That's why the hotels are closing, because you decided to be more right-wing on immigration than even Nigel Farage's Reform Party. That's the reason these hotels are closing, not because you've been any sort of compassionate leader for the country. Also, what's really distracting about this whole self-indulgent resignation letter to the nation is that they've got this backing track.
For 17 years, the biggest improvement in rights for workers and renters in a generation.
That has much more personality than Keir Starmer ever wished he could have.
Protecting young people from social media and 500,000 children being lifted out of poverty because of the choices that I made.
Because he went around systematically door to door and shipping them out of the country. To be honest, I don't actually know about this 500,000 children lifted out of poverty. What I do know is that there are 1 million young people out of education, training and employment under his premiership. Is he going to mention that at all?
Our reputation in the world restored, with Britain once again standing up for decency, respect and the rule of law.
Okay, this is a level of delusion that not even the greatest psychologists have encountered yet. He's saying Britain under him stands for the rule of law. Let's put to one side that he backed a genocide and said, you know, Israel had a right to turn off the power and water in Gaza because Israel, a bunch of lunatics. But Israel then went on, with the help of America, to do an unprovoked attack on Iran, and Keir Starmer allowed the United States to use UK bases to refuel and rearm. What part of international law is that? Please show me the detail. Aye. If there's any justice in the world, when the removal company are taking him out of number 10 Downing Street, they would drive him straight to The Hague as opposed to wherever he wants to go after this. Because remember, once you're prime minister, you get a fat pension for the rest of your life. He never has to work again.
That ain't right!
So apparently he will have to work again. Keir Starmer will get access to a fund which entitles him to a maximum of £115,000 per year in expenses, with the purpose of assisting former prime ministers still active in public life. And it's my hope that he never returns to public life, so I guess he will have to get a job. It'll be amazing who actually hires this cardboard cutout of a human being. I doubt he will be any use on any boards, and I definitely don't see any big companies inviting him to come and give speeches on the how to be successful.
Securing trade deals, standing with Ukraine, standing up for our values, and rebuilding our relationship with our allies in Europe.
Yeah, you stood with Ukraine because I presume they're European, but when it came to the Palestinians in Gaza, you didn't stand with them because they're brown, maybe? It does fit within your character, but I just wanted to put that on the record.
Change promised by a Labour government. Change fought for by a Labour government. Change delivered by a Labour government. But I know the question being asked now is not who was best placed to change the Labour Party, to take us into power and to begin the vital work of improving lives for millions of people. Those questions have been answered. The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election.
And they decided you were not. I mean, 3 years out from the general election, they said, you are so toxic, get the hell out of here. And if you needed a better example of what the Labour MPs thought of Keir Starmer, here is a picture of Andy Burnham with all of the Labour MPs in the House of Commons. You know, those same Labour MPs that pretended they backed Keir Starmer couldn't be happier that they are in a picture with the uncrowned king of the Labour Party right now. I mean, this guy, no one liked him. And We saw it before. People said, oh, like if we get rid of him, who would replace him? I guess the writing was on the wall right then. They wanted him gone. They just didn't have someone that could step up in their eyes. Keir, you absolute idiot. You delusional fool. You, sir, are the best example of failing upwards. And if there's any justice in this world, you will never be seen in public ever again.
I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question. And I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first.
They always say this, I love this country, I put it first. If you put it first, you would have, stuck to the 10 pledges that not only were popular with the Labour membership, but also with the majority of the country. If you put those pledges into practice, I promise you, you would not be doing this self-pitying resignation speech right now, you idiot. I mean, if there wasn't a clear example that he was not driving the car whatsoever, it was all Morgan McSweeney, here it is. He is delusional. This man, and this is not even me saying bad of anyone with mental health issues or delusion. I'm actually saying this very seriously. This man is delusional and he needs serious help.
That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision. I will ask the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party to set out a timetable with nominations opening on the 9th of July and completed by the summer recess. In the case of a contest, this will ensure a new leader is in place before Parliament returns in September. I will remain in post as Prime Minister until the contest is complete, and I will do everything I can to ensure an orderly handover of power.
Well, that's a surprise. That's the one time Keir Starmer has actually surprised me, is that he will do an orderly handover of power. I thought this guy was going to be leaving, kicking and screaming, but I guess him losing a leadership contest to Andy Burnham would have been humiliation one too far. I mean, he must have been advised by his wife. She must have said, seriously, dude, you are toxic. They will never vote for you. Just resign now and let the leadership campaign wrap up pretty quickly, and they'll have someone in post by the conference season.
I will also give my successor my full and unequivocal support, knowing that they will inherit a Britain that is far stronger and fairer than the one I inherited 2 years ago, better prepared for the challenges ahead, and better able to ensure the Labour Party secures a second term in office. I want to thank all of those friends and colleagues who have been at my side for these past 6 years or so.
Absolute bootlickers and cucks. You should be ashamed of yourself that you even propped up a person with such little personality, such little charisma, such little vision. You people should be leaving with him.
For their incredible commitment, service and support. I want to thank the brilliant Number 10 staff and our country's extraordinary civil service who dedicate their lives to public service. And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad, and being the best dad I can to my beautiful children, who are my pride and my joy. Thank you very much.
Boo. Boo. It's so fascinating. Just like Theresa May before him, they only cry because they don't get to do the job any more? Where are these tears for the children of Gaza right now? Where are these tears for that school full of little girls in Iran when America dropped a bomb on it? None of that was there. But now he doesn't get to do his job. He doesn't get to be prime minister anymore. He wants to actually cry on camera. You absolute sociopath. I hate you. You are a terrible, terrible human being. And yesterday when we all found out that he was no longer going to be prime minister, I laughed. I loved it. I was like, yes, inject it straight into my veins. And someone said, oh, why would you say that? He's a human being. And I was like, yes, he is a human being, a terrible human being. We need to stop thinking, unless you're the level of Hitler or King Leopold, that you're not also a terrible person. Tony Blair is a terrible person. David Cameron is a terrible person. Theresa May is a terrible person. Boris Johnson is a terrible person. Liz Truss is a terrible person. Rishi Sunak is a terrible person, and Keir Starmer is a terrible person and human. And just spinning the block on my comment about Theresa May, she cried because she had to resign, but she did not cry for the victims of Grenfell. These people are self-serving and disgusting, and they should never get any of our sympathy. Of course, you have David Lammy smiling the broadest and clapping the loudest for this absolute farce. I hate them. They are such terrible characters in this theatre we call life. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I hope Keir Starmer cries every night for the rest of his life for what he has contributed to this world. I mean, first of all, you fooled the Labour membership into electing you, and then you abandoned every pledge before becoming prime minister of this country. And you became prime minister not because people saw hope in you, but they just saw that you wasn't the blatant blue Tory. And I should have mentioned, before you even became prime minister, you said
a siege is appropriate, cutting off power, cutting off water.
Well, I think that Israel does have that right.
And the worst thing you've actually done, you have enabled far-right politics to never be so popular until now. That is all you're doing. The number of racist riots that happened across this country while you were prime minister, you, sir, are the worst of us. You, sir, should never have been prime minister. And I'm so happy that you resigned. The only thing that would have made me more happy is if you lost a leadership, campaign to someone else. But you didn't even give me that pleasure. If you wanted to make me really happy, you should have done that, actually. But no, instead you decided to fall on your sword, which you should have done when Morgan McSweeney had to quit after you hired Lord Mandelson to be the UK ambassador to the United States, despite knowing he had ties to the most prolific paedophile in United States history after the abolition of the slave trade in the United States. So yeah, that was his resignation speech in full. That's what I think. Tell me what you think below. I would love to read it. If you stayed with me up to this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy audiobooks, I voiced one on spotting red flags in relationships early. Link in the description below. And remember, once we understand politics, we will make better choices. Please don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon. Ciao.
acting like a hoe, acting like a hoe, acting like a